Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pro MMA Betting Podcast. So we're in the midst of a 3-week UFC break currently. I'm putting this podcast out nice and early. I did tape on this card well over a week ago now, so I don't want to forget everything that I took in from watching tape. So I'm putting this out now before I do forget everything. So as I said, we're in the midst of the 3-week UFC break. It's still busy here though at Pro MMA Betting. As regular listeners will know, we also bet on boxing alongside MMA, and we had Bellator last week as well. So last weekend was very busy. So before we speak about UFC Washington and break down the card, just going to recap on the results over the last couple of weeks. So for the UFC Brazil card, on pre-bets we made 2.2 units profit. On live betting on that card we made 1.25 units profit, so small card for us on the live betting side. So overall it was about 3.5 units profit, which we'll take every week very happily. Since then, so we had live betting on the boxing last Friday. That was a really good night for members. We managed to make 4.5 units profit on the live betting, and then on Saturday we had Bellator and boxing again. So combining Bellator and boxing live bet together, we managed to make 2.5 units profit. So really good weekend on live betting. Managed to make 7 units profit. We also had a pre-bet on Michael Venom Page to win, well not to win, the fight actually to be under 1.5 rounds. It was 1.44, like minus 225 at Bet365 and a load of other books. Free money. I didn't make it a bigger bet just because it was hard to get decent sized money down. Limits would have been relatively small for that kind of bet, but it was ridiculous odds. I mean, I lined it around minus 500, and yeah, MVP didn't disappoint. Just one-shotted him a couple of minutes into the fight, so easy cash job there. We've got live betting for boxing this Saturday as well. So for us, there is no 3-week break. We're going to be busy every weekend, and next weekend when the UFC does return, before the UFC we've got the Anthony Joshua boxing card, so there might be some pre-bets on that card as well actually for the boxing, but we're going to have live betting for it as well, so there's no lull in the action for us. Still churning out money. Members that bet £100 per unit are now £13,500 in profit with us in 2019. To sign up for the year, guys, it's only £195, so take that off of your profit, you've still made £13,300, and we've still got over a month left. So if we could get to 15,000 profit for £100 unit bettors, that'd be fabulous. So that's the aim now. If we can make it to that 15,000 mark, as I say, guys, it's only £195 for the year. Now that's not going to last. Prices will be going up. Not yet. Probably not until the summer. I'm thinking August kind of time. I can't keep prices this low for the return on your buck that you are receiving, but it is going to hold fast for another 8 or 9 months. So if you guys do want to get in and take advantage of current pricing, then please jump on board. I'm not sure where prices are going to go. It's not going to be anything stupid. I'm not going to be charging £200 per month like a fellow competitor. Outrageous. But it is going to be a bit more than what we're charging at the moment. £195 for the year is bargain for the amount of work that goes in, all the research we do, every card, all the live betting that's provided. I mean, live betting is a service where we have to stay, we have to watch the whole cards. You know, sometimes it's 12-hour shifts we're put in if there's a boxing and UFC card back to back. So I can't keep it at £195 considering the amount of profit that's being made. Obviously if profit drops off, then I'm not going to increase prices, but if we keep going at the kind of pace we're going at the moment, I will have to put the prices up. So take advantage of the 195 for the year, guys. Lock it in. Prices will be going up in 8 or 9 months, so there's plenty of time to take advantage of the current discount that we're offering. All of our bets are third party track, guys. All links are available on our website prommmabetting.com, and I've made direct links available below this video so you can access it from the YouTube page as well. We post our bet slips and our stakes. I like to prove to you guys I'm betting what I'm tipping, and I like to show that I'm risking a lot of money as well. All the live bets are tracked. Everything's tracked, guys, so everything is completely transparent for you guys to see. Just touching again actually on the weekend just gone, I did put some free tips out on Twitter as well actually for the Bellator card. Sometimes I do it. I did say the Brazier backline was lined correctly. It was like a pick'em. Obviously after the fight it wasn't lined correctly back. It should have been a bigger favourite, but it was kind of hard to tell that from tape. But I did say I would pick Soren back with a gun to my head. I said Fabian Edwards probably wins, but I did say the line was too wide, which it was. It looked like a 50-50 fight, but I said the best bet on that fight was the over 1.5, which did hit, and actually said it should be 2.5. And then I did put out the MVP bet as well, even though it was a premium bet. I did throw it out on Twitter as well, the under 1.5. So hopefully some of you guys managed to pick up on that and make some profit. So keep an eye on the Twitter page at Pro MMA Betting. Do put out free bets from time to time. But like I said, everything bet slip wise, stake wise is put on there. And I also post members' bet slips from the live betting that we have. I always ask them to post them in Discord, and then I'll put them up on Twitter just so you can see that we've got real life members that are taking our live betting tips. How do you know they're members' tips? You guys, check out the currencies. You'll see there's all different currencies being used, all different betting sites. Transparency is my number one thing. I do not make bullshit up. 100% transparency. You will never see anyone call us out for a lack of transparency. So have a look at the website, guys. Packages are on there. ProMMABetting.com. Unbelievable bang for your buck. We're going to make you lots of money. We've got boxing this weekend, live betting as I said on Saturday. Next weekend we've got the Anthony Joshua boxing card, followed by the return of the UFC, and then we've got 3 weeks of UFCs, and there's plenty of boxing in December as well. So hopefully we can end the year on a big high. So as I said, £100 per unit members are £13,500 in profit in 2019. So let's try and get to that 15k mark. What we're going to do now is look at the card for Washington. I'm going to break it down as we always do. We'll start from the bottom, work our way through. Timing's quite good actually, because they've just released the fight goes to distance lines, so we're going to have a look at them as we're working through. Haven't looked at them yet myself, so I'm going to be seeing them for the first time as I look at them as we break this card down. Right, I'm not sure where this fight is going to be on the card, guys, but I'm just going to break it down first. We've got Werner Jandiroba taking on Mallory Martin. So Martin is a late replacement last couple of days for Livia Souza. Gutting for me because we had a max bet on Jandiroba. We managed to get in at about -175, so I'm gutted that fight is off. Mallory Martin stepping in. Line's actually been released in the last 12 hours or so. Jandiroba is sitting at about -300. I did take Mallory yesterday. I think it's a fairly comfortable win for Jandiroba here. Mallory is basically a wrestler. She's got decent wrestling, but she's fought no one. The Italian girl she fought on the Contender Series continually kept getting up. The Italian girl outstruck her on the feet, was just throwing volume at her. To be fair, her striking wasn't too bad, the Italian girl. Probably better than Jandiroba's, but I just think, Mallory Martin's strength is a wrestling and getting top position. Does she really want to engage in that world with Jandiroba? If she decides to try and keep it standing, then maybe it'd be a close fight on the feet, but I just think Jandiroba is going to be able to get takedowns on her, and there isn't much footage of Martin on her back at all. You need to go back to the Macy Barber fight to see her on her back, and it's not extended periods, but she didn't look great on her back. But that is a couple of years ago. She has improved as a fighter. You can see that. How much better she is off her back, I don't know. It goes back to the old, kind of like the old days where women's MMA is behind, and you used to see back in the day when when wrestlers got stuck on their back, that you aren't used to seeing on their back. They were awful. Is Mallory Martin going to fall under that bracket? As I said, MMA has evolved a lot, but women's MMA is still a number of years behind the men's game. So I don't know what she's going to look like stuck under Jandiroba, who's a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu girl. She's beaten Amanda Nunes and Carla Esparza. Who's the other Brazilian girl? The one that beat Esparza. God, her name's escaping me at the moment, but she beat her in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Claudia Gadella. So she's definitely a legitimate grappler, and you can see that from watching her Invicta fights. And then even the Carla Esparza fight was a real close fight. Carla probably won that. I think she got the takedown in like the last minute or 90 seconds of the third round that probably stole her the fight. If I remember rightly, I remember it was really close in round 3 and Carla probably just nicks it at the end. And you know, Carla's a legitimate fighter, legitimate contender in the division. I just think this is a big step up for Mallory Martin that I don't think she's ready for, and I can see her being the one taken down here, which she completely isn't used to. I mean, we haven't even really seen her takedown defence ever tested, so it's going to be a bit of a role reversal for her here. So I go with I like Jandiroba here to win this. I did look at the inside the distance line. It is plus 175. Interesting. I've not really thought too much about it. I have to go back and look at the records again, but you know, Jandiroba is a very good jiu-jitsu girl, and if Mallory Martin is as bad on her back as she looked in that Macy Barber fight, there could definitely be a finish there. So I think I'd be interested to see what Jandiroba's submission pays. Those lines aren't out yet, but I'm definitely interested in that. If that's anywhere in the plus 300, plus 400 range, I'd definitely be tempted there. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jandiroba to win. Betting line at the moment minus 300. It's probably about right, to be fair. So yeah, absolutely gutted that I've missed that Sousa bet, but it happens. And funnily enough, it happened again on Cage Warriors. Just gone. So we had a 2-unit play on Paddy Pimlet. Opponent didn't make weight, so we lost that bet, and now we've lost this one. It's just so frustrating when it happens. But yeah, Jandiroba for me all day there. I think it's a tough fight for Mallory. Next we've got Makhmud Muradov taking on Trevor Smith. Muradov, I bet on him in his UFC debut, managed to get him at dog money. Massive sweat that fight was. Did take it on short notice, but he gassed. He's got that style where he uses a lot of energy, moves in and out, a lot of movement. I mean, you watch tape and his cardio always held up fine, so I don't know whether it's a combination of short notice, UFC adrenaline dump, but he really slowed down in round 3, and he was in big trouble in that third round. First round was close. He clearly won the second round, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't in love with him from tape anyway. I just liked the plus money that we got against the Italian chap, De Chirico. I can't touch him here though against Trevor Smith at the price he's at. He's at like minus, well, he's gone up even more, minus 370. I think that's way out of line. Trevor Smith, look, he's not the best guy, but he's a grindy, come forward, pressure type guy. If Muradov can't get rid of him quickly, this could, you know, if he slows down again, this is going to become a very sweaty fight if you're a Muradov backer. We saw Trevor Smith give Elias Theodorou a difficult fight. He's just got non-stop come forward pressure. Now Trevor, he has got 4 KO losses, but when you look at them, they're all very early, like they're under a minute, I think, all of them. So it seems to be, if you can't catch him cold in that first minute or so, he is pretty durable. And Muradov's not a massive puncher, so I can see this fight being extended the full 3 rounds, and it could get really interesting if Trevor Smith's applying lots of pressure, making Muradov have to use lots and lots of footwork. If Muradov slows down again, but I mean, his cardio looked fine pre-UFC, so you've got to think it was probably a combination of the short notice. I don't know how much weight he had to cut on short notice, and also maybe the adrenaline factor. But I definitely can't get behind that money line. I do pick Muradov to win here, but that line's way too wide for me to even contemplate. What I am interested in is fight goes to a decision, which is currently sitting at plus 110. For me, I think that's where the value lies on this fight. It'd be interesting to see where that line goes, because they've literally only opened in the last 12 hours, so there's probably been minimal movement. But yeah, I'm interested to see where that goes, but I'll pick Muradov probably to hit and run his way to a decision here. But as I said, definitely not touching that money line. And yeah, fight goes to decision, definitely of interest to me. So be interesting to see where it goes and where it opens over here on the Euro books. Joe Solecki versus Matt Wiman, last fight on the Fight Pass card. Joe Solecki, yeah, he looked good in the Contender Series. Comfortable victory against probably an overmatched opponent. He trains with John Salter, chap that fights in Bellator. He's a good grappler, Joe. It's kind of where his strength really seems to lie, developing stand-up, but his go-to is his grappling. I did watch some fights of his where on the regional scene, where I don't know whether maybe he just disrespected his opponents a little bit, but he got a little bit sloppy, like lost the back position and so forth, and was kind of content playing guard, looking for submissions, wasn't getting up back to his feet. I mean, he'd kind of won the rounds already when this happened. So I don't know whether it was just a look, I've got the round banked, there's no need for me to try and get up, or whether he's a bit of a guard player, which isn't a good thing in the UFC. But yeah, he's a young guy, he's a work in progress, but solid grappling. Matt Wiman came back from that 5-year layoff against Pena, looked awful. I mean, to be fair, Pena, he can be a difficult stylistic matchup for a lot of people. He's got great cardio, Pena. He pushes a high pace. Coming back after a 5-year layoff, it's a bit of a nightmare. He's long, gangly. He's just awkward. But yeah, Matt Wiman didn't look good in that fight at all. I mean, based off that fight, the 5-year layoff, 36 years of age. He's taking on a young buck here who's going to be hungry. Is Matt just turning up for a paycheck here to fight out his contract? You know, he's not going anywhere. He's 36 years of age. I think he should be at featherweight as well. It does just seem like a bit of a cash grab to me. But he is scrambly. Wiman, he's tough. Solecki's got to be careful he doesn't make some of those errors you saw on the regional scene where he does end up on the bottom and get stuck there. You know, Matt Wiman is a tough guy. He's going to persevere. He's not going to go away easy. So I'm reluctant to play the minus 330 that Solecki currently sits at. I don't feel I've got a massively great read on him because there isn't a great deal of footage available. Like I said, there is that 3-rounder available where he ends up on the bottom and you've got his Contender Series fight, but he wins that really easily. But I mean, the line's just a bit wide for me, just because I do just worry if Solecki doesn't get an early finish, if this starts to become a bit of a war of attrition and he starts getting a bit sloppy. But like I said, it might have just been a sign of disrespect for his opponents. He might be more switched on here and more conscious of not ending up on the bottom and not getting too relaxed when he's got someone's back. But he might just have that kind of style where, you know, he does train with John Salter, so you know, it kind of adds up in a way. But yeah, I have to go with a younger, fresher guy here. Matt Wiman's shot, but I can't get behind minus 330. Fight goes to a decision, minus 185. I thought that was going to be better than that. Not really interested there, so it's a bit of a pass fight for me, that one, guys. But yeah, I have to side with Solecki there. Probably a one-sided decision. So we're on to the preliminary card now. First fight up, we've got Bryce Mitchell taking on Matt Sayles. Good fight this. I'm looking forward to this one. So Bryce Mitchell fights out of a southpaw stance. Got decent left hand. His stand-up's not great, but he's kind of fairly awkward with it. He makes it work. Like I said, he has got a decent left hand, good grappling, and he's got a good takedown game actually. If you go and watch his fight with, I think his name's Tyler Diamond, which was his UFC debut, straight off of Tough. Diamond is a very credentialed wrestler, and Bryce was out wrestling him. He's got decent takedowns, this kid. Cardell's a little bit suspect though. We've seen him slow down. I saw him slow down on the show when he lost. Can't remember the UFC guy that he lost to on the show now, but he lost on the UFC on the Tough series where he slowed down Brad Katona. He got choked in the 3rd round. You saw him slow down against Tyler Diamond as well. Got dominated in round 3. That was a very close fight. That could have gone either way, that Tyler Diamond fight, much like the Bobby Moffett fight. And again, he definitely slowed against Bobby Moffett as well. Bobby started to take over in that fight. He was getting easy takedowns. He was in full control in round 3, but instead of solidifying position, Bobby started to look for submission. It gave Bryce the opportunity to reverse, get on top, and then Bryce nearly managed to sink the choke, and so he managed to nick the decision, literally won it in the last 90 seconds, and it looked like he was on his way to a decision loss. So he does slow a bit. The guy's got heart, he'll fight, he's got good wrestling. As I said, stand up a work in process. Matt Sayles fights out of Alliance. It's been kind of a Dominic Cruz protege for many years now. Very good boxing. We saw him on the Contender Series. Knocked out guy fought under a couple of minutes. Shayman Morales in his UFC debut. Very close fight that was. Very close. He actually suffered a detached retina towards the end of the second round from an eye poke. And I had him winning round 2 up until that eye poke. And in the last, I think it was like the last minute, Morales kind of poured it on. But you could see Sayles hadn't recovered from that eye poke whatsoever. He was blinking a lot. It lost him the round. And then round 3 really turned it on. Lots of pressure. Really good cardio. Won round 3 clearly. Lost the decision, but I think without that eye poke, I think he might have nicked that decision. And then he's coming off. He had a long layoff because of the detached retina. He was out for about 10 months. Really let his weight balloon though. It's really unprofessional. He ended up at about 185 pounds, and he took the Carl Nelson fight. I think it was on about 10 weeks notice. He had a really difficult cut where he let all that weight come on and kind of showed in the fight, because normally Matt's cardio is excellent, but he did slow a little bit against Nelson. He had a really good round 1, nearly finished him. Round 2 he ended up getting taken down. Nelson got his back, came very close to securing the choke. Matt managed to survive to the end of the round, and then round 3 Nelson couldn't get the takedown. He was tired, and Matt eventually ended up stuffing a takedown, getting on top and securing the arm triangle. He's got lost to George Hickman. That I don't agree with that decision at all. I thought Matt won rounds 2 and 3 in that fight, but he did get his back taken in round 1 there. So there is a little bit of a pattern here of him having his back taken when he does end up on his back. Hickman didn't take him down. If I remember rightly, he stuffed a Hickman takedown, and I think he followed Hickman to the ground, and in the scramble ended up on his back. So his takedown defence is decent. He stuffed all the Kyles bar 1, which was enough for Kyle to get on his back, but the Kyle was a huge featherweight as well. He's going to be very physically strong. He looked way bigger than Sayles in there. Bryce is definitely a kind of a he's longer, but you know he's not a big featherweight, so Matt's not going to be at such a size disadvantage here. But yeah, Matt's going to want to keep this on the feet. He's got very good boxing, and Bryce is going to want to get this fight to the floor. It's a very good fight. It's quite a tough one to call. It's a pick-em line at the moment. Matt has shown good takedown defence, but he's got to be careful he doesn't give his back up. That is the one weakness that he has shown. On the feet, I think once he gets his timing down, it'd be too much for Bryce on the feet. I think Matt needs to really push the pace here, like he did in the Morales fight, like he did in the Hickman fight. Get Bryce backing up, get him to slow down, just apply heavy pressure. I'm sure he learnt his lesson from that Carl fight with regards to letting his weight pile and having to do a massive cut. Surely that's not going to happen again. So I'm going to go with Matt Sayles here. It's going to be a competitive fight, especially early, but I just think he's going to outlast Bryce. I think the takedowns are going to become more difficult and difficult for Bryce as the fight wears on. But as I said, Matt needs to be careful if he does get taken down with regards to giving his back up. I taped this a couple of weeks ago now, but I'm pretty sure Bryce doesn't have the best top control. But obviously, if you do give him your back when you're trying to get back to your feet, you're taking a big risk there. He still trains at a small gym, Bryce, as well. Look, that does work for some people. I'm not saying it can't work. It does. But you know, he turned down. I know Daniel Cormier offered him an opportunity to train at AKA, but he was like, no, I want to stay at home. And I don't know, it does work for some people, like I say, but for someone like Bryce Mitchell, with the kind of skill set he's got, I think he would definitely benefit from being at a better camp. I mean, I don't know what kind of training partners he's got where he is, but iron sharpens iron ultimately. Matt Sayles is over at Alliance, so I'm going to go with Matt here. But interesting fight, 2 prospects here, but Matt Sayles' decision. He's actually just flipped slight underdog odds, so it'd be interesting to see where this fight finishes. But yeah, Matt Sayles for me. Right, Chris Fishgold has pulled out, guys. So Biddy Quarantillo, there's no opponent confirmed at the moment. So I'm not sure what's happening now. I imagine he will get a replacement opponent. We've still got a week and a half, but as it stands, Chris Fishgold's out. No opponent for Biddy. Next we've got Thiago Alves taking on Tim Means. Tim Means is a bit of a boogeyman for me. I am a fan of his game, but it's got to the point now where I've kind of lost faith in backing him. He's 35 years of age now. He'll be 36 in February. He's coming back from a nasty ankle break back in March. I bet him against Nico Price. He was absolutely teeing off on him. Looked money in the bag, and then wham bam, bad knockout, and he broke his ankle on the way down. Before that, he wrecked Ricky Rainey. He lost to Sergio Morales. I mean, he should have got that win in Brazil, but still not a great. He definitely did lose round 1 to Sergio Morales. Still not a great look getting outstruck by Sergio Morales in the first round. Bilal Muhammad, close fight, but Muhammad outstruck him. Alex Garcia, I bet him against Alex Garcia. He dropped the first round, and he won the next 2 rounds, but it wasn't kind of the performance I was expecting. And then Alex Oliveira, I bet him in the rematch with Alex, and no, I didn't bet him in the rematch because the line was too wide. I bet him in the first fight against Alex, and I mean, it was looking good, and then I don't know what he done with them illegal knees. I mean, how can you not know the rules? But yeah, he's just a tough guy for me to trust. I just don't know where he's at. Look, I like him here against Thiago Alves, but I don't like the price. He's minus 260. I'm not paying any more juice on Tim Means. I know Thiago Alves is not the fighter he was. One of the biggest USADA victims we've seen. He's 36 years of age now. He's kind of tried to reinvent himself post USADA, etc. But I mean, he's lost 3 of his last 4, and let's be real, the Max Griffin win, I had that for Max Griffin. I mean, I have rewatched that fight since watching it live, and it probably isn't as bad a decision as maybe I thought it was, but I still would have given that to Griffin. So I mean, realistically, he's lost his last 4. He's lost 6 of his last 7. He's got the Patrick Cote win sandwiched in there, but Cote, I think, retired after that fight. Yeah, it's just, the guy's done. I have to go with Means here. He's longer. I think Alves is going to find it hard to get inside. I think Means is just going to pick him off. But like I said, I just find it hard to trust Means. Let's see what the fight goes to a decision is minus 110. That is interesting. I'd definitely be interested to see what Tim Means' decision is as well. Yes, Thiago Alves is shot and on his way out, but he's still a hard guy to finish. I don't think anyone's really finished him. Let me just double check this. 3 KO losses. So he had the Curtis Millender knee loss. Carlos Condit was because of the broken nose. So that doesn't really count. And then you have to go all the way back. I think it was an up kick against Fitch. Yeah, 2006. So he's a tough guy, Thiago Alves. I don't agree with that line at all. And Tim Means, he's not been a potent finisher in the UFC. Yeah, he took out Ricky Rainey, but Ricky Rainey's chinny. Before that, Alex Garcia took him to a decision. He put away Hamasi and John Howard. I guess he has been finishing, but he's had so many losses lately. But yeah, no, I think he's struggled to put Alves away, unless Alves just comes out and looks absolutely awful. I really like that. So fight goes to a decision minus 110, and I'm definitely interested in Tim Means' decision there as well, because if those lines are an indication, then Tim Means' decision is going to be at probably some decent plus money. But these are early lines, they might change a lot, but I definitely like that. I think that's where the value lies on this fight. Fight goes to a decision. People will probably parlay in Tim Means, but not for me. Even though he should win here, I've said this about him many times, and it ends up being a sweat or he loses, and so no, I'm passing there. But I will go with Tim Means, probably by decision. But last fight on the preliminary card, we've got Rob Font taking on Ricky Simon. Look, you can make an argument for both guys here. It's a fight I can't bet. Rob Font is the better striker. He will win the striking if this stays on the feet. And I do think Ricky Simon is a little bit chinny. He's coming off that TKO loss to Uriah Faber. And if you watch his loss to Anderson dos Santos, he gets dropped heavily and then choked. So I do have some reservations about Ricky's chin, and that is a bit of a worry when you're taking on someone like Rob Font, who is a power puncher. I mean, I do like Ricky's game. He's had some good wins in the UFC. The Muradov fight, I know it was controversial, but Muradov's still a really tough fight for pretty much anyone. He's got really good wrestling, Ricky. We saw him beat Montel Jackson as well. Someone that, I guess, if there is a opponent he's faced that is most similar in the UFC to Rob Font, it would be Montel Jackson. But Montel just couldn't stop Ricky's relentlessness with the clinching, with the wrestling. Beat Rani Yaya, and then that freaky loss to Uriah Faber. Rob Font, solid boxing. He's got good reach. He always does well when he faces strikers. We saw him, except John Lineker, who he couldn't deal with the pressure there, but we saw him take care of Matt Schnell, Douglas Silva Andrade, Thomas Almeida, Sergio Pettis. Kind of his two losses in the UFC, Pedro Munoz, Pedro didn't even get his grappling going, to be honest. He actually was getting picked apart by Rob, and then he caught Rob with a shot, made Rob panic shoot, and he got guillotined. And then Rafael Assunção used takedowns to beat Rob. Look, I think Ricky's going to get takedowns on Rob. The question is going to be how quickly can Rob get back to his feet. He did get up against Assunção when he was taken down, but he would be down for a couple of minutes. But Assunção's a better grappler than Ricky. Ricky's top control isn't so great, so I think how this fight plays out, if Ricky wins, he manages just to mix in a lot of takedowns, a lot of clinch work, kind of rinse repeat kind of thing. And for Rob Font, it's going to be he either spends enough time at range to nick the rounds, or he manages to get the knockout on Ricky. It's a tough fight to call. As I always say on this pod, it is a betting podcast, so we're going to go with the value. So Ricky Simon he's only a slight underdog, plus 115. So I'll go with Ricky because he is the one at plus 115. He is the underdog. If Rob was sitting at that line, I'd pick Rob here, but I'm going to go with Ricky. He's not really a finisher, so I think if Ricky wins this fight, it's going to be a decision win. He did get that when he was classed as a submission against Muradov, but it was off of a takedown. Rob Font's not going to be going for takedowns here. I just don't see him getting a finish. Rob Font has got power in his hands. He can put Ricky Simon away, so it's definitely not a confident pick. But I'll go with Ricky because he's sitting at dog odds. Fight goes to a decision, minus 190. I don't really like that. I'd rather just take a punt on Ricky if I had to. So I'll go with Ricky to win a decision. Right, main card now. So we've got Cody Stamann taking on Song Yadong. Cody Stamann, I think he's a good fighter. He's got a really good shot, really explosive double leg. But that's kind of where his wrestling ends. He's not someone that's going to chain wrestle you on the fence. He's not someone that's going to go for different takedowns. He's not really someone that hits body lock takedowns. It's literally kind of double or bust for him on his takedowns. But they have served him well in the UFC. Mixed them in greatly against Tyrion Ware, Tom Dukanwar as well. They managed to get Aljamain Sterling down a few times. Alejandro Perez in his last fight is the first guy that's just completely shut his wrestling down. He couldn't get any takedowns on Perez. But luckily for Cody, he does have good stand-up as well. He trains with Darren Cruikshank, and he's got a very similar kind of stand-up style to him. The one knock with Cody with his wrestling is his top control isn't good. Doesn't really hold anyone down for extended periods of time. And with the way fights are scored these days, relying on the wrestling is becoming, if you can't maintain top position and do damage from top, it's becoming less and less a factor in scoring. So that's going to go against him moving forward. But as I said, he's not a mug on the feet. He's got good stand up. As I said, very similar style to Darren Cruikshank. Where Cody does struggle is he backs up in straight lines, and he will back up into the fence very easily. He doesn't like being pressured. That is definitely his weakness. You can see that in the Tyrion Ware fight. Tyrion has excellent success when he's pushing him back. Tom Dukamwa in round 1, Tom ultimately ends up slowing down and getting outstruck, but when he was fresh, he was controlling the octagon and he was pushing Cody back. And then he's not really faced anyone pushing him back since Brian Caraway's a grappler, Aljamain Sterling, it was a grappling heavy affair, and then Perez is a counter striker. With Yadong Song though, he is going to be facing someone that is going to come out and pressure him. I'm sure that'll be the game plan. It's kind of Yadong style anyway. He's not like recklessly aggressive, but the game plan will surely be to push Cody back. He's got very good hands, Song. He's very fast. You can see he's very athletic. He's only 21, if that is true. I know there's some rumours that he's not 21, but if that is true, then the world's the oyster for this guy. He's coming off that quick KO win over Alejandro Perez. Before that, completely controlled Vince Morales for 3 rounds. Beat Felipe Arantes before that. The one unknown here though is Sadong's takedown defence. We just haven't really seen it tested. We did see, I think it was Felipe Arantes who tried to take him down a couple of times, but he got stuffed easily. But Arantes isn't known for his wrestling at all. Cody does have a very explosive double, as I've said, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can hit this here. But like I said, his top control's not great. Song's coming out of TAM. You've got to think he's going to get back to his feet quickly. What I will add here though is in the Vince Morales fight, Song actually started to grapple in round 3 against Vince, and it seemed to affect Song's cardio because he definitely slowed down once the grappling exchanges finished and they were back on their feet. He was definitely looking a bit tired. So the worry for Song backers here is if Cody can mix in his takedowns, makes Song work, having to get back to his feet, etc. Is Yadong going to slow down? I think that is Cody's best hope of winning here, because I don't think he's going to win this on the feet unless Song slows down. And let's call it an educated guess. I think he's going to struggle for the takedowns, and even if he does get a few, I just don't think he can keep Song down, and it's not going to be factored in the scoring. So I think he needs to try and make Song work as quickly as possible, try and slow him down so he can then outstrike him. Kind of like the Tom Dukamwa fight where Tom came out, he was pushing him back, he won round 1 on the feet, Tom, and then he slowed down and ended up getting outstruck all around 3. So that's the main reservation here. If you're backing Song, it's just if he is made to work, defending the takedowns and so forth, has his cardio hold up. But I think just my gut says he's going to be all right here. But Cody's a solid fighter, so he's not 18-2 for no reason. Current line, Song is -190. I think that's fairly accurate, to be completely honest. Fight, let's see what the fight goes to. Oh, that hasn't been released for some reason. Fight goes to decision isn't there. So yeah, I'm going to go with Yadong. I think he'll win a decision here. But that's a good step up in competition for Song, just to see exactly where he's at, because you're going to see some of his grappling and takedown defence tested here, which are still somewhat unknown. So we're definitely going to leave this fight with a better picture of Yadong's potential and where he's at. So I'll go with Yadong to win a decision. Next we've got Aspen lads taking on Yana Kunitskaya. Interesting fight, this one. Aspen lads, so she's coming back from that quick KO loss against GDR. She's young, she's improving, she's got very good ground and pound. That's like her main thing, Aspen lad. If she gets on top, you are in trouble. She's coming off before that she had the fight with Sajara Eubanks. She won a decision. Very competitive fight, very entertaining fight. But yeah, she's still a bit of a work in progress lad. Her striking isn't great, and takedowns, I'm still not overly sold on how good her takedowns are. I mean, she got a injured hand, but it was a bit of a weird scramble. The Lena Landsberg fight, in her debut, she got controlled in the clinch for all of round one. Now, Kunitskaya is very good in the clinch, so I think in the clinch I have to favour Kunitskaya here. We saw Kunitskaya actually face Landsberg, and she just dominated her in the clinch and hit takedowns on her. It was a pretty impressive performance, really, because Lena's actually really good in the clinch. And yeah, she shut her down way more effectively than Aspen Ladd could. Aspen Ladd was getting out clinched. Problem with Kunitskaya is she throws kicks and they get caught very easily, and she ends up on her back and she just plays guard. So it's a bit of a worry when you're taking on Aspen Ladd. Is she going to have the fight IQ to drop the kicks? I can't bet her because I just don't know if she does. You'll probably know quickly. If she throws a kick in the first 30 seconds, then it's just like dumb. And it's something that's very difficult to factor in with regards to capping MMA, but I'm sure I've said it before. His fight IQ is huge in MMA. It's absolutely massive. And I mean, just not throwing kicks, I understand if kicks are a big part of your game, but just having the fight IQ not to throw them, you should be able to do it. But I just can't trust her not to throw kicks, and if she ends up on her back, who knows what's going to happen. Aspen Ladd, as I said, very effective with her top control, but in the clinch it's all Kunitskaya for me. Can Kunitskaya take Aspen Ladd down? Possibly. It's a hard fight for me to call this one. The line's currently Aspen Ladd's -150, Kunitskaya +130. Fight doesn't go to a decision, +160. I mean, we did see Kunitskaya in Invicta against Tonya Avenger, and it's got easily taken down in both them fights. She managed to get the armbar. Well, it was overruled in the end, but she did armbar Avenger in the first fight, and then second fight just got dominated. I'd probably lean Ladd here. I just think if Ladd gets on top, and I don't trust her not to throw kicks, and Ladd on top is very good. But it's one that I just don't fancy betting. I don't really see any value on the lines here. Fight goes to a decision, -210. I mean, look, it is likely that it goes to a decision, but Aspen Ladd does have ferocious ground and pound, and she lets out these like primal grunts that I'm sure they influence the referee to step in and stop the fight. So kind of a pass fight for me, but a fight I'm interested in just to see where Ladd's at and where Kunitskaya is at as well, actually. So I'll go with Ladd to win there. Probably a decision, but watch out for the primal screeching that I'm sure influences the refs to step in. Next fight on the card we have, it's heavyweight, Stefan Struve taking on Ben Rothwell. I'm not sure why Stefan's returned. He retired after the Lima win, cited the heart condition he has, and now he's back. I think it's like 9-10 months later, so I'm not sure why he's back. Was he bored? Didn't know what he was going to do? Needs money? But he's back here against Ben Rothwell. Interesting fight, this one. That Struve, he doesn't react well under pressure. He backs up in straight lines. He backs up to the fence. He's got that tall man defence. He's never been able to use his range. He's never going to learn to use it now. It's not going to happen. He's too far into his career. He's had over 40 fights. I just think stylistically this could be a tough fight for him because Ben Rothwell is going to push forward. Now Ben's very hittable. Struve can pick him off, but he just doesn't have the ability to do it over 3 rounds, Struve. He wasn't looking good. You look at his last 4 fights, Volkov knocked him out, Orlovsky won a comfortable decision, Marcin Tybura, Tybura used his grappling, but Tybura's absolute dog shit lately, and he lost the decision there. And then against Lima, he got dropped. He lost round 1, and then he come back and won in the second round, but just didn't look good in any of them fights. Ben Rothwell, he had the 3-year suspension for being busted. I can't remember what he was on exactly. He came back against Ivanov. I thought he won that decision, but it was a very good fight. He was pushing forward, he was eating punches, he was giving out punches. I thought he nicked it, and then he just didn't look good against Solecki. Now look, he does struggle with strikers that can move their feet. Like, he lost to Dos Santos before the suspension. Solecki kind of, I wouldn't say he's similar to Dos Santos, but he's pretty quick for a heavyweight. He can move his feet. It's just the style Ben struggles with, because he's just so plodding. And he lost to Solecki before as well. I think it's just a tough stylistic fight for him. He did kind of get wobbled a few times in the Ivanov and Solecki fight, so I do wonder if his durability is starting to wane a little bit. I know he's been stopped in the past, Ben, but he is very, very tough to put away. So I just have that in the back of my mind. He is like 39 now, or he's actually 38. He's just turned 38, so it's not old for a heavyweight. But he's had the 2 comeback fights, but he just didn't look good against Solecki. But I have to favour him here. He's going to eat some shots from Struve, because he does have long levers, Struve. But Struve's not been putting people away with his strikes. When was the last time he won with strikes? He put away the ghost of Bigfoot in like 15 seconds, but before that, you're going back to the Miocic fights. The last time he KO'd someone, it just hasn't been happening for him on the feet. So I just can't see him putting Ben Rothwell away, who's a tough guy. Who's stopped Ben? Let's have a look. I know Solecki stopped him the first time they fought, but besides that, he's been stopped strikes. I'm talking Cain Velasquez. Now, that wasn't a... I haven't watched that fight for years, but it was very one-sided. Maybe it wasn't a bad stoppage, but he wasn't like hurt per se. He was just overwhelmed. So it's not like he got knocked out there. He had the Solecki one back in 2008, and then you're going back literally. There's a retirement in 2002, and Carlos Barreto, not heard that name for a long time. Head kick KO. So yeah, he's durable as fuck. I don't think Struve's putting him away. I can't see Struve hitting takedowns. I think Rothwell is just going to move forward. He's going to ship a few, but I think he's just going to land some big shots on Struve, and he might put Struve away as well. Struve's been stopped 7 times. He went down against Volkov in that 3rd round. Tybura isn't really known for his power, and he grappled his way there. Solecki's not been putting people away for a long time now. Overeem grounded and pounded him. Mark Hunt knocked him out. I wouldn't be shocked to see Ben Rothwell put him away here, but I'm going to go Ben Rothwell. It could be a decision, but for me it's Ben Rothwell's fight. I think it's just a bad style matchup for Stefan Struve. Fight to go to a decision, plus 115. No, I don't like that. I'd want a better price to touch that. But then at the same time, I'm not entirely convinced this fight ends inside the distance, minus 155. So I don't like that. So I can't fault a small Ben Rothwell play here, minus 140. But it's heavyweight, guys, and there's potential that Ben Rothwell could be heading into shot territory. He's had a lot of fights. He is getting up there in age. Didn't look good against Solecki, but why is Stefan Struve back? I'd be interested to see some interviews actually to find out why. But I'm going with Ben Rothwell there. I'm fairly confident Ben gets this victory. Next fight is the co-main event. We've got Marina Rodriguez taking on Cynthia Calvillo. Look, I like Cynthia. I think she's got really good stand-up. Really good grappling. Finisher on the floor. Really, really effective submission game. She's changed up her camp now. She was at TAM, then she was training with Justin Buckles, but now she's over at Tiger. The problem with Cynthia is her ability to get fights to the floor and her actual fight IQ. If you go and watch her fights, most of her takedowns tend to be off of caught kicks. she's not really known for her takedowns. But having said that, I went and because I knew I wasn't really going to be betting this fight, but I just wanted to have a look at Marina and just to see how many, does she throw a lot of kicks? So I couldn't remember. And I watched the first round of her fight with, I think it was the Tisha fight. Actually, I don't think it was. I think it was, who was the other fight? Was it Aguilar? Or I can't remember who it was. I watched the first round and she threw about, it was crazy, like 30, 40 kicks. I was like, there's no way I'm betting Rodriguez, because, I said earlier about Kunitskaya, like, don't throw any kicks. But it's impossible to say that to someone like Marina. It's just a complete staple of her game. She's not going to come out and not throw any kicks. I'd be amazed if she comes out and doesn't throw kicks. But one cool kick, one takedown, Cynthia could finish her. She's that effective on the mat. Really, really good grappling. You saw it against Calderwood. Just she hit takedowns at the end of, I think it was every round, and Calderwood was saved by the bell at the end of the third round. Just instantly got to her back. She's just really, really effective on the mat. And even if she doesn't finish her, she probably struggle to get back to her feet, Marina, and she'll lose the round. Because Cynthia, even if she's losing the stand-up, she gets that takedown. She's so effective with getting to the back in a dominant position that she could steal the round back. So, I'm going to go with Cynthia here because she's the underdog. I've not looked at the line for a few days. It's come in. She's almost picking there. I'll still side with Cynthia just because I just don't trust Marina to keep this fight standing. But she has got good stand-up. If it stays on the feet, then I'm pretty sure that she will win the fight. But she needs to be able to keep it on the feet, and that's not a given with the amount of kicks she throws. And as I said, how effective Cynthia is. But Cynthia's been at Tiger. Has she fallen in love with her striking? I just don't trust her fight IQ. But for the sake of making a pick, I will pick Cynthia here. Fight goes to a decision, minus 230. I don't like that at all. Not with how dangerous Cynthia is. And I think the gap on the mat is a lot bigger than the gap standing. I don't want to write Cynthia completely off on the feet. I don't think she wins a striking battle here, but she did basically outstrike Courtney Casey, who's kind of got a similar frame to Rodriguez, but Casey's striking isn't as good as Rodriguez is, albeit maybe she's more powerful with her strike. She can crack Courtney, but Calvillo couldn't get any takedowns on Courtney, and Courtney's one who's, if memory serves me right, she's been pretty easy to take down and off of caught kicks. So yeah, I definitely can't part money on this one because I would not be shocked if Calvillo comes out and decides to strike. If she can't get a takedown, and I do think she loses, but equally I think Marina is going to be putting kicks out there, so Cynthia's her big focus should be to catch one of these kicks and get takedowns, because she throws a lot of push kicks, a lot of oblique kicks. They're there to be caught, especially the push kicks. So I'll go with Cynthia here, but that is based on her getting takedowns. So we've got the men's main event next, heavyweight. We've got Alistair Overeem taking on Rozenstruik. Real unfortunate events around this main event. It was meant to be Overeem versus Walt Harris. I'm not even going to go into kind of why Walt's off the card. It's just heartbreaking. But Rozenstruik's here. He's taking on Alistair Overeem. Alistair's a slight favourite. I think conventional wisdom says that he should try and get to the floor here and unleash that ground and pound. We saw him do it against Stefan Struve. We saw him do it against Pavlovich. And we've seen look vulnerable on the floor. You go and watch his Ryzen fight. He gets taken down. I think it's round 2. He gets taken down. It's held down. We saw Albini have some success on the mat as well in round 1. So it's the path of least resistance for Overeem. The concern, as always, with Overeem is his chin. Yeah, he's changed up his fighting style. He doesn't get knocked out nearly as much as he was at one point. But he's still a 40-year-old man. I think he's 40 now, or almost 40. He's had I think over 60 MMA fights. God knows how many kickboxing fights he's had as well. The guy's had a hell of a lot of fights, and he's been knocked out a lot, 13 times in MMA. So, you know, there's a real danger that he gets clipped and the chin doesn't hold up. He's also got that style where he'll back up to the fence and use the high guard. I don't like it at all. So that is always the worry when you're backing Alistair Overeem. For me personally, I would like a plus number here to pull the trigger. I don't know if I'm going to get it. He did come down to -115, but he's gone up to -130 again overnight. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely. I mean, the Francis Ngannou KO. I mean, I know he KOs everyone. So, I mean, that aside, Curtis Blades was a ground and pound KO, and it was in round 3. You know, you have to go back to the Miocic fight if you put aside the Ngannou one for a kind of KO loss stand-in, and before the Miocic fight, you have to go back quite a few fights, back to the Ben Rothwell fight. So his new style is definitely far more effective for protecting his chin. It's worked pretty well for him. I mean, since he changed his style up, I think he changed it up after the Travis Brown loss. So he did get that loss to Ben Rothwell where he got caught. He's lost to Miocic, Ngannou and Blades, and he's beat everyone else. So he's only lost, I mean, aside from Rothwell, he's only lost to the real top heavyweights in that time frame. And yeah, you know, he's getting a bit of hype here because he's coming off 2 very quick wins against Arlovski and Crowder, but they don't mean anything really. It's heavyweight, anyone can win with one punch at heavyweight. It's just the way it is. They don't really tell you anything about his skill set. The only way you get to see his skill set is you'd watch the Albini fight, and got taken down a couple of times early in round 1 at his back taker, managed to get back to his feet, and he started to stuff the takedowns thereafter, and he got the knockout early round 2. He's definitely got power. I mean, you even saw in that split decision loss to Kovalev, he hit Kovalev early with some big strikes. Kovalev ate them, no problem. Would Alistair? I don't know. So look, I understand why people are betting Overeem here. He is, you know, he's a veteran of the game. He's extremely skilled, and he can take a path of least resistance here with the takedown. But I just don't know how much I believe he's going to go in and look for takedowns here, Overeem. I mean, I haven't gone back and watched loads of his fights, but I remember he grounded and pounded Struve and Pavlovich, so I rewatched them fights there. He got the takedowns. He grabbed a body lock on Struve, kind of like spun him round and managed to get on top. And then against Pavlovich, I think he took the tie clinch. I think he threw a knee, and Pavlovich lifted one knee up to try and block it. Maybe it was to the body. And so he was on one leg, and Reem swept him and then managed to pound him out. Besides those 2 fights, I don't recall him hitting takedowns, but I could be wrong, but I don't think he has in any of them other fights. So it's just part of me, it's just hard for me to believe that he's going to come out and go heavily for the takedowns here. This could end up possibly playing out on the feet longer than anticipated, and surely Yair is working on his takedown defence, but if he does end up on his back, there is a good chance he's going to get pounded out. And Overeem could win this on the feet. He's still dangerous on the feet. He's got that point scoring style now, but he's still a powerful guy. So he could knock Yair out, or he could kind of win a points decision here. Yeah, definitely slowed in that 3-rounder as well, but you know, that's the only time he's been the distance in his career. I think the only other time he's been past round 1 was against Albini. But I don't like betting, hoping that someone's going to slow down, etc. But look, I'm going to pick Overeem here, but I don't want to part with money on him as a favourite. I don't think here. I'd want plus money. Would not be surprised at all if Yair catches him and knocks him out, but I have to go with the experienced, technically better veteran who has a big advantage on the mat. But the longer every second it's standing though is a sweat, no doubt about it. But I will pick Overeem here. But as I say, I just don't think I can part with money unless he flips to dog odds or pick 'em at least. Well, that wraps up the card, everyone. Good luck. If you've had a break from betting, due to the UFC break. Good luck with your bets for well, we've still got a week and a half to go till the UFC's back. As I said earlier, it's £195 for 12 months pre-bets and live betting service. That will be going up come the summer. £100 per unit members are £13,500 in profit for the year. We're going to try and get to 15,000. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Give us a follow on Twitter at Pro MMA Betting. And all of our packages available on the website prommmabetting.com. Over and out.